Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. This year, I would say especially, Call of Duty has seen, a lot of negative feedback, and there are a lot of negative connotations with the franchise as it stands between Warzone 2 and MW2, obviously coming off of MW 2019 and Warzone 1. And while you can have your, personal quarrels with the game, whether it be the TTK being too fast or maybe for some people too slow, the movement not being what you like, the maps not being what you like, there is an overarching issue here. One issue that is going to exist regardless of how they change the core dynamics of the game that needs to be addressed more than it has already, especially with some of the new features that we've seen introduced in recent seasons. And that is the servers. I don't know what changed this year especially, but dating back to Warzone 1, MW 2019, even games before that in the COD franchise, the servers have always been kind of just meh, right? Before, when it was peer-to-peer connections, you'd always have like the migrating host issues. Back in the day, you could tell if someone got killed off their streak and they were the host of the lobby, you'd see them back out, and then immediately there'd be like the host migration, or you could see as you loaded in if somebody was on a 4-bar connection and everybody else is on a 3-bar. It's like, okay, clearly that guy's the host, he's gonna be frying everyone, right? They since changed away from that, but their servers have never been anything all that impressive. The tick rates have always been relatively lackluster compared to other major shooter titles, in the industry. CSGO and Valorant especially are two that do it really well, where the connection is always feeling really, really good. And it wasn't up until, just a couple of months ago that Call of Duty ever even initially addressed the servers. Initially, back on April 20th, they first mentioned that they are investigating reports of server-related gameplay issues and are actively working to resolve them. And with that, tweet that they initially sent out on the actual Call of Duty account, which really is never used for anything more than promotion, so that was kind of a step in the right direction, they added a Trello card to the Infinity Ward Trello. But just a couple of weeks ago, that was changed, and we talked about this. That Trello card was changed from an issue that was being looked into to a quote-unquote issue that was resolved. Although it's tough to say that it was actually resolved. In fact, the last time that Call of Duty actually touched on the server issues was back on May 9th, where they updated the April 20th tweet by saying, "We are aware of a recent uptick in server-related issue reports. Investigations uncovered a network buffer memory issue that we have since addressed." So that was actually fixed and that was updated. "Our teams are actively engaged in mitigation of further issues. We are committed to continued progress and we will update as we are able." So that was the last official word on the server issues here in Warzone 2, MW2, and DMZ. But since then, obviously, as mentioned, that Trello card with the, server issues was actually updated to resolved. So how was something fixed there or resolved if the official account that's been updating things never said anything more? Well, it turns out that they actually reverted that quote-unquote resolution. You could see from a few videos back when we actually ended up talking about how it was resolved, apparently. Now, if you go to look at the Trello board, the top thing that you see in the Issues tab is all platforms. We are investigating reports of server-related gameplay issues and are actively working to resolve them. So why should this be priority number one in terms of everything here that we've got going on with Warzone 2 and MW2? Like I said at the start, this game is far from being issue free. Everyone is going to have their own complaints about this game, and even if we saw a ton of gameplay updates to Warzone and 2 Modern Warfare 2, there would still be plenty of people who are not happy with the newly updated product, right? But let's say, for instance, the two main issues that we've got right now in Warzone specifically, the movement and the TTK. Those are by far the two hottest topics in the community. Let's say that they adjusted the TTK and made it slower and made it more in line with Warzone 1, where we had like the increased health and everything. And rather than having, 500 millisecond TTKs at 40 meters for some guns, it was shifted down to maybe 800 milliseconds there for the close range as well, like with the SMGs and whatnot. And then long range was over a second, more similar to how it was in Warzone 1. And then we had the sort of continued TTK from that. All right, that's one major gameplay quarrel updated. Let's say they adjusted the movement and made it so that you could be more aggressive with your sliding and you could be more fluid with your general movement and it sped things up. All right, that's great. Now, what if you have all that in game, but every other match, you're still getting insane packet loss and the entire server is freezing. Or for 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes on end, you're still playing on the Microsoft PowerPoint where it's just framey as can be, and it's like you're skipping from one slide to the next slide, or it's just a flipbook experience, right? This has been an ongoing issue since day one of MW2 and Warzone 2, and despite seeing several other server updates, as Call of Duty's Twitter account alluded to, not much has changed. So regardless of how good the gameplay updates end up being in the future seasonal updates, regardless of how many changes are made to the meta to make things more balanced, or how many map updates we see, or how many new maps we see introduced, the servers are going to be there regardless. So they need to be updated. These things need to be resolved, and quite frankly, the major server issues need to be addressed. And especially now, this is the whole reason that I really wanted to discuss this in the first place with Warzone Ranked. I've countless times already, and as have my squad mates, been penalized because of the server issues. Not something on my end. It's supposed to be a system, I think, where, you know, if the whole server lags out and you get that lost connection to host, which happens pretty frequently, unfortunately, I'm still not sure if it's an actual server issue or if it's someone who has, you know, hacks or mods that can crash the server when they die because they're bad and they're mad that they're bad, right? I'm still not sure if it's one versus the other, or maybe a combination of both, but regardless, when everyone lags out of the game at the same time, whoever's left, it doesn't matter if you're plus 110 SR or minus 56 SR, you should be met with no changes to your overall SR totals. The whole server lags out and it's just like that match didn't count. Except that's not always the case. There's been numerous occasions now where I or a squad mate are penalized because the lobby lags out. Or there's a situation where one of our squad mates wants somebody on the team, and I know this isn't just specific to my gameplay experience with my squad, somebody on our squad randomly gets the disconnected from BattleNet servers or from the Call of Duty servers, and one person on our team lags out, and we're, you know, a third of the way into the match, and it's like, all right, great. Now we're minus 40 SR, and we've got to fight 2-on-3 for the rest of the game and hope that we can, you know, break even. And that random teammate who just randomly lagged out of the game gets penalized with a 30-minute long, you know, penalty or suspension, so they can't queue in even after we're done with this match, and they end up losing SR because of it. Now, keep in mind, Call of Duty did say that the whole join back in progress match that you get disconnected out of feature is coming, hopefully here in Season 4, because that's going to be something that definitely helps here. But regardless, the server issues, the disconnecting, the lagging out, the freezing, the stuttering, the coin flip gunfights that are a result of the servers being so finicky and the tick rates being so inconsistent, equates to a gameplay experience that regardless of how much you change the core gameplay, these issues will still persist. And it's a major factor in if someone wants to continue to play the game, if they're going to be punished for no reason other than the fact that the servers are just not up to standard, right? So this is a major issue that needs to continue to be addressed, and hopefully the fact that this was changed from a quote-unquote resolved issue back into something that's being investigated means that more major changes to the servers are coming. I think a lot of people saw that Call of Duty initially tweeted that and said, you know, we're looking into server issues as a sign that maybe we were going to see major upgrades to the servers. I'm still a bit skeptical on that. I think really the end result here is going to be some fine tweaks and some fine tunes to small factors in the way that the servers work, and probably not major upgrades that, you know, make the tick rates better or change things otherwise. But you could maybe see that as an end result. It's certainly a possibility. We just don't know until it happens, right? And we can be hopeful that that's the case, but we'll really just have to wait and see. Regardless, the servers should be priority number one here in Warzone 2 and MW2 in regards to things that need attention and things that need to be improved for a handful of reasons, right? Even moving forward into year 2, year 3 of Warzone 2 with the future integrations as well. All that being said, though, that's going to wrap things up for this one. If you guys enjoyed the video, if you guys agree with the points that I brought up here, let me know by dropping a like on it. Share the video around via liking it. You never know who from Call of Duty might end up watching because of that, and hopefully we could have a positive impact on the game. Also, if you guys are new here and you want to always guarantee you're up to date with everything going on in COD, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.